Hello, Giovanni Lombardo Radice. Before we talk about your career in the Italian film industry, may you tell me how COVID-19 has affected your life?
Not very much, I must say, because I don't go out often. I'm quite always at home. I don't see people. I'm a bit of a loner. So, as a matter of fact, apart having lines at the supermarket or stuff like that, it didn't affect me much. The pissing thing is that I was supposed to attend a few conventions, and I couldn't. That's the problem.
Understood. How did you get the stage name John Morgan?
Because when I started being in the movies, many Italian movies wanted to pretend to be American. So they asked everybody to have a stage name that sounded American. I didn't like the idea of having a totally meaningless name, so I just translated Giovanni with John, and anyway I've always been called Johnny in the family. And then I choose one of my grandmother's last names. They were both foreign, and so I decided for Morgan because it was more stagey, in my opinion. Morgan was my maternal grandmother.
Very interesting. What was it like to work with David Hess on The House on the Edge of the Park?
Well, David was a fantastic person. House at the Edge was my first movie, so I was used to the stage, but not to be in movies. So I was a bit worried, and he was fantastic as a first partner. He helped me a lot, made me at ease. It was very nice to me always. We had a great out-of-set relationship, which reflected on the on-set relationship. So he was a great friend, and we have in touch ever since. We met at a convention in Glasgow, I think it was, but we always corresponded or chatted by Skype, and so it was a great loss when he departed.
And what was Diodato like as a director?
Well, Diodato was a very good director. He was the shouting type, but not in the nasty way. I mean, first of all, the poor man was in a terrible hurry because we did almost the whole movie in 3 weeks. So he was running, and so always telling the crew to be fast and shouting a lot, but always adding something funny, a nickname, a joke, and was very professional. He was very in charge, knew what he wanted. Only problem was at times that he didn't speak English, so it was a very stagey movie in a way. There were sequences that really required a stage quality, and at times it was difficult for him to explain to people what he wanted. I helped in a way in that.
I know it's your most iconic death, but is your death in City of the Living Dead your favorite death of yours on screen?
Oh, God. Well, to me, the more incredible one and also the most dangerous one was the one in Cannibal Apocalypse with the bowels exploding, the hole in. Do you remember?
Right, I remember now. Yeah.
With the hole in my stomach and the camera passing through. That was a very interesting effect and a very dangerous one to shoot.
I would love to hear about Lucio Fulci. Was he intimidating to work for? What was your relationship like with him?
My relationship with him was a very nice one. He had the fame of being a very difficult person, mistreating people, mistreating actors. To me, he was always very kind, even complimentary, appreciated the fact that I was coming from the stage. He was a very cultured man, so we had a lot of conversations about the arts in general, movies, great movies. He had been assistant on the set. He even took me to dinner, which he never did with actors. So with me, it was a perfect relationship. I witnessed some bad tempers, yes. He was shouting a lot, mostly at production people, but it wasn't entirely real, because once he told me, look, I'm giving you a tip because you are a theater director as well, so one day you might want to direct a movie, and with production people you must shout every 2 or 3 days out of nothing if there's no reason invented. This fork smells, which doesn't mean anything. But because he said, if you don't shout at them now and then, they become sloppy. They don't give you what you want. So production people must always be on the edge.
Could you tell me one of the cultured conversations you had with Fulci?
Well, I was a fan of Luciano Visconti, a great Italian director. He had been assistant in one of his movies. I don't remember which one. So we had conversations about Visconti, about movies in general, about Hitchcock, about Fellini, about culture.
Very cool. So do you still vehemently hate Cannibal Ferox?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us why you hate it so much?
Because it's fascist, racist, pedophilic, pointlessly violent. There's violence against animals. I mean, I just hate it. I can't see a reason to like it. And I think I'm horrible in that, I must say. Shouting all the time, but the character was flat, no insight. It was just a bad guy. Stop. And Shakespeare wrote a lot of bad guys, but the lines were by Shakespeare, not by Lindsey. And so there's a difference in between saying, "Oh, beware, my lord of jealousies, the green-eyed monster that feeds upon the flesh it feeds on," or to say, "Shut up." I mean,
oh my. Okay, so if it was such a stupid script, why do you agree to do it?
I needed the money badly. Anyway, Lindsey didn't call me at first for Mike Logan. He called me to be the friend, the weak one who dies, the wounded one, etc. But I was sick and tired of playing the weak guy because I had done that all 3 or 4 times already. And then I found the script revolting, so I say to my agent, tell him that it's either the leading role or nothing, and then I want thrice the sum they're offering me. And even if I needed money badly, I hoped in a way they would say no, but they said yes, so I was stuck to it.
Can you say anything nice about Umberto Lenzi now that he's dead?
Oh, dear. Bo. He was professionally scaled, but not really my cup of tea. I'm sorry he's dead. Whatever, you always should speak good of the dead, but he wasn't my kind of person. No sense of humor, which to me is a must.
Yeah, especially when you're doing Cannibal Ferox. Did you like the soundtrack at all? It's got a kind of a catchy intro, don't you think?
The music was by Fiamma Maglione. She was a great lady, and she was very nice.
Oh, it was by a woman, because it's credited as a guy named Roberto Donati or Buddy Meg Leone.
No, Fiamma Maglione. Her real name was Fiamma Maglione. She was the companion of the producer.
Oh wow, I did not know that. It's very interesting. What was your favorite role that you got in Hollywood?
In Hollywood, I didn't do much in Hollywood. I mean, real Hollywood. I only did The Omen.
And you're credited in Gangs of New York.
Well, no, believe me, Gangs of New York, it was an extra
Uh,
thing. Blink an eye, you miss me. Fact is that
hmm.
at the very beginning, these actors were doing a stage play out of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and in the first script, in the first draft, they had lines to say. That's why Scorsese wanted real actors. Then he decided the movie was too long, and he decided to cut these lines even before shooting. At that point, my agent didn't want me to do it, but the money was the same, and I was very curious about the set, the reconstruction of 19th century New York. So I said, yes, no, I'm going to do it.
Was it cool?
Yeah, I'm not. The set was amazing. It was an entire city. You would get lost there. Uh, we
Wow.
were we were advised not to go strolling by ourselves because we could get lost, and it was true. There were houses, streets, squares, buildings, theaters, a harbor, whatever.
Oh wow, that's really cool. What do you wish you knew at the start of your career that you know now?
To take things more easy. I mean, not to be so tensed always on set. Relaxing more. In my first movies, I was always very tensed, which might work for the role, but it was very tiring.
That's interesting and good advice for aspiring or new actors. I'm curious to know why did the Italian genre movie scene fizzle away?
Because of the TV, because the producers disappeared. Back in the days of my first movies, there were still producers. I mean, people who put money into a project, their own money, and decided to make a movie. When the private TVs arrived in Italy, quite late, respect the rest of the world, that was in the late 70s. Step by step, all the money was coming from TV networks. Nowadays, they don't produce a movie if there's no TV money in it, and TV networks don't put money in genre stuff because they want prime time stuff for families. So they wouldn't put money in a horror or something like that. And so it died out.
Interesting to know. Johnny, thanks for your time. What do you have planned for the future?
Um, I don't know. I hope this quarantine thing would stop and I could resume attending conventions, and I hope some movie projects will come. And but I really don't know.
All right. Well, do you enjoy interacting with your fans? And what's your message to Cannibal Ferox fans?
To Cannibal, go see a psychiatrist.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Johnny.
Okay, bye. Thanks.